River Torrens in all its glory, and thousands gathering for the official presentations of this year's Santos Tour Down Under. And we'll cross live very, very shortly to witness the presentations. But what we've just seen today is one of the closest finishes in the history of Australia's premier cycle tour, a race that began way back in 1999. We've just seen the 13th edition completed on the streets of Adelaide today, and let me tell you, it's been an absolute classic encounter over a week of wonderful racing. Ben Swift wins the stage. Cameron Meyer, at 23 years of age, is the champion, and I think, gentlemen, it's the start of what's going to be a brilliant career.
There's no question about that. He's already at the top of the cycling tree at 23 years of age. But you know, this was a very big pressure race for him. They threw everything they had, not just one team, but two teams. In the end, it turned out to be three teams, because Ben Smith, his 10-second win bonus, gave him third overall in the race, right?
Well, Lance Armstrong, he bids farewell to the streets of Adelaide tonight after 3 years. He's really injected some wonderful energy to this race, and it comes on the back of a magnificent career.
Just say that he's an inspiration for everything that he's gone through, and he can still do the physical things and the family things and dedicate his time to other people. It was just very giving.
Oh, he's a legend, isn't he? You know, he's won the Tour 7 times and he's in Australia racing the Tour Down Under.
Lance Armstrong enjoying what is likely to be his last day in an escape group before he retires from international cycling.
I never thought I'd get the opportunity to ride with him, and when I did, you know, it was one of the biggest things that could happen in my career.
There is Lance Armstrong having a chat with Mark Cavendish.
You know, for what he's done in the sporting arena, what he's done in life, the way he conducts himself, he is an inspiration. You just got to read his books to really understand that.
Yeah, for him to come out to an event like this, it's brilliant. It does a lot more for world cycling than I think he actually realises.
Look at that. Thanks for the memories, Lance, from Adelaide, South Australia.
He's been an inspiration to people who've gone through cancer, and personally, he's been a great inspiration to me.
This is my 6th year at the Tour Down Under, and so I've seen it with him and without him. And before Lance, you know, the Tour Down Under was big, but now it's just unbelievable.
Have a great retirement. Hope to see you in the Ironman next.
Let's remind you how this race unfolded this week. The streets of Adelaide's East End came alive with the sights and sounds of the classic Criterium, the traditional warm-up to the week-long festival of cycling in South Australia. The street race lured more than 100,000 people for a dramatic finish.
Oh, there's a crash on the bend!
All saluting an Australian victory for Goss and Renshaw.
They go 1-2 for HTC.
The 13th edition of Australia's premier cycle tour kicked off from Mawson Lakes.
Hello and welcome to the city of Adelaide.
Lance Armstrong held centre stage in his farewell international appearance, whilst it was all set up for the showdown between Sprint Kings, Cavendish and defending champion Greipel. As the field made its way through the Barossa Valley's rich wine region, the tour's first real breakaway unfolded. The peloton caught the leaders for a bunch sprint finish into the historic town of Angaston.
Up the running, and Goss really has got his legs on this year.
As Matt Goss backed up his classic win and grabbed first blood over Greipel, with Robbie McEwen securing third place. Goss, who's been in lightning form over the summer, was the first to wear the ochre jersey at this year's tour.
Somebody's gone down in the middle. They've all gone over the top of him.
Crashes marred stage 2, many riders kissing the bitumen on the tight and technical last 3 kilometres.
Well, that was a massive crash, Paul.
Cavendish suffered cuts and bruises and lost almost 4 minutes.
And there's been a crash, and that's Thomas who's gone down. But
the stage not complete without another spectacular crash on the final corner into the finishing straight. Team Sky was caught up in the carnage, but it didn't hinder Ben Swift. He took out the stage win.
At least Swifty won, because if he hadn't won, I'd be kicking his ass right now.
McEwen sprinted home to claim second, securing the leader's jersey for his new team, Radio Shack. With temperatures rising into the mid-30s, the heat was a telling factor as the Tour made its way from Unley and into the Adelaide Hills. The race was decided on the third of 3 climbs into Stirling. Matt Goss punctured with 10 kilometres to go.
He's going to have to get himself a move on.
But with the help of his teammates...
Start the lineup for Matthew Goss is dead centre. He's found his legs from somewhere.
He worked his way through the entire field to finish third behind rising star Michael Matthews.
He's 20 and a half years of age and he's got himself a stage victory for Rabobank.
It was a performance that elevated Goss back into the overall leadership, just 2 seconds ahead of German nemesis Andre Greipel. The colour of the Tour filled Norwood for the start of stage 4. As the race headed to the picturesque town of Strathalbyn, a lead group which broke away after 35 kilometres surprisingly stayed away. Cameron Mayer and Matt Wilson had the numbers in the 5-man group for Garmin.
45 seconds is the biggest gap a breakaway has had this close to the finish.
As much as they tried on the downhill run to the line, the chase from the peloton's fast men failed to bridge the gap to the leaders. This allowed Mayer to break through for a maiden win in Australia's Premier Tour.
Cameron Mayer, at 23 years of age, is another of the young bloods of Australia. He gets the victory.
And so to Old Willunga Hill for the stage which has historically decided the Tour.
This is Luke Roberts here going for the Skoda points again.
As Luke Roberts gained an advantage in the King of the Mountains competition, the frantic chase for overall honours didn't disappoint. Jack Bobridge controlled proceedings on the second climb in a bid to keep Garmin teammate Mayer on top.
Oh, bit of crash on the 2 gone down. Jack Bobridge, I think.
But when Australia's champion crashed on a tight bend, it was up to Mayer himself to do all the work.
Goss is trying to come through on the inside, Goss on the left.
Matt Goss challenged for the sprint, and by finishing third behind Francisco Ventoso, the HTC fast man reduced the margin to just 8 seconds to ensure a fitting finale for today's showdown on the streets of Adelaide. Several thousand have moved to the foreshore of the Torrens River, the Adelaide Oval just on the other side. But we're paying tribute now to the podium in third place. Ben Swift, he's come out of absolutely nowhere. He's knocked out Michael Matthews for a place on the podium, and he'll be happy with the bronze medal.
Well, he's had 2 great victories this week. He's been very careful. He's looked after himself. The team have looked after him. And I think, and as I said to Michael Rogers, I think that was probably the best lead-out train that Team Sky have done this week. It was perfect.
Yes, and it's been a very good Santos Tour down under for a couple of years now for Team Sky. Of course, last year it was Chris Sutton who was victorious when he crossed the line first, so they seem to have a liking for the streets of Adelaide.
I think it's wonderful. Ben Swift is a very likeable young man as well, and there go the flowers. And third place in the race, 2 stage wins. He's going to go back home a very happy young man.
All right, Jimmy Jakes, the official ground announcer, and he's been doing that job for the last 13 years. A wonderful job too. He's learned the fine art of commentating on location here at the Tour Down Under. But let's now pay tribute to the runner-up. Let's take it away, Jimmy Jakes.
Let's give this Tasmanian a great big cheer. Matthew Goss.
And here he comes. Let's see if he gets the smile. And the winners are winners, and Matthew doesn't like losing, but 2 seconds. It's not the closest victory, by the way. We had 2 riders finish equal on time once, Mikael Astalosa and Lenny Christensen. Astalosa winning on countback. But 2 seconds is still the blink of an eyelid. Oh, he's putting on a brave face, Matthew Goss. I'm sure he'd rather be somewhere else right now, but you know, second place in a major tour, a tour with some very tough stages, Paul. I think in reflection, in a few days' time, when it all sinks in, he'll be pretty happy.
Well, I think he will, but he'll go and he'll put his mind back to Strathalbyn and think, if we chased a little bit harder for 1 kilometre, if we chased a little bit harder for 500 metres, 2 seconds is nothing, and it could have all changed. But as Phil said, I think Cameron Mayer, the man who's about to get introduced right now, he deserves the victory because he went out and he took it.
All right, let's pause now and pay tribute to the winner of the 2011 Santos Tour Down Under.
Presentations. What about a big cheer for Jane and Santos, ladies and gentlemen? Well, by now you know that this man In 2010, went to the Commonwealth Games in Delhi, and he came back with a gold medal in the teams pursuit. And also, well, we came back with 2 gold medals at the Commonwealth Games. He went to the world titles last year, ladies and gentlemen. Came home with 3 gold medals. We know that he's an Australian champion. Big Aussie cheer for the winner, Cameron Meyer!
Cameron Meyer, the champion of the 2011 Santos Tour Down Under, and given he's already cleaned up in other events on the velodrome, Phil, I just wonder where this one ranks in his career so far, a career that's going to go a long way.
He's won a lot of things. He's only 23 years of age, and only just on the 11th of January this year. This is obviously his greatest road victory. There's no comparison to this. It's a World Tour event. It can't get any bigger for him. He'll be a little while before he gets a crack at the Tour de France. He's got 6 gold medals from major championships last year on the track. This is his best ever victory on the road.
It was interesting to listen to what Matt White had to say, that he stays calm all the time. He doesn't get ruffled, but I wonder what was going through his mind over the last 500 metres, because he would have done the calculation as we did it so many times during the course of the afternoon. If he didn't get somebody else won the stage, he would have lost the race.
Leading into this stage, but look, you held on. They were getting closer during the race, but you held on, and obviously the team rode fantastically. Good, hard early tactics to break up the field.
Yeah, definitely. I was excited but very nervous at the same time going in today. Obviously the time gap was only 8 seconds and Matt Goss was going to fight all the way to the end. But my team rode absolutely superb. I mean, I wouldn't be in this jersey or be on this podium without them, and we were really aggressive from the start, and that's what we needed to do, and maybe that's what got me across the line today.
Yeah, you gave Matthew Wilson big raps through the week, and he's gone out and attacked early. Then when they caught him up, then brother Travis joined in. It was the epitome of a team effort.
Oh, they were unbelievable. They were fantastic, and they just really rose to the occasion, and they were just best bunch of teammates you can ever have. I mean, to ride like that on the last day after all the work they had done through the tour, and to come out fighting like that to the death was just fantastic, and I can't thank them enough.
I know your family's here. Say hello to them, Cam.
Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad. Yeah, they're over there. It's great to win in front of it's their first time to the Tour Down Under, and lucky I brought them this year.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion for 2011 Santos Tour Down Under, Cameron Meyer.
This is Michael Matthews in his first Pro Tour event. Keep fighting, Cav. Well, that man will never give up on the Isle of Man. Cameron Meyer, at 23 years of age, is another of the young bloods of Australia.